Bowersox. I'm 20 years old. I found myself pregnant in a crisis pregnancy when I was 18 years old, and I chose adoption for that child. I just remember the terrifying feeling, the questions. You're confused, you're lost, you have no idea what is going on with your life. What's going to happen to my school? Am I going to be able to go to college? Am I going to be able to get a job? What's going to happen to this child? Is he going to have a father in his life? What kind of mother am I going to be if I'm not ready to be a mother? And that's really what brought me to adoption. That's the way God led my heart to adoption. Of course, adoption is God's plan. God created it. Adoption is the only way that we get to be part of God's family. So I know that adoption is very near and dear to God's heart, but God really used my love for Jacob to lead me to adoption. God was with me in choosing Jacob's parents. I remember sitting and looking at the profiles, looking at these pictures and reading these letters, and I just knew in my heart that these were the people that God had chosen to be the parents of this little boy. He was with his parents in putting together that profile. He knew what I needed to see. He knew what I needed to read. And God was with them in preparing that profile to be brought to me. Adoption for me was a win-win-win situation. A lot of people would say that a crisis pregnancy is the worst thing in the world and your life is over when you find yourself pregnant. And while your life's not over, it is a crisis. It is a very rough thing to go through, but God used my pregnancy to bring me back to Him. I was at a point in my life where I had to be broken. God had to completely, totally break me, and I had to humble myself before the Lord in order to get my relationship right with Him. It is more difficult than I can put into words to carry a child in your womb for 9 months, to love that child, to nourish that child, to grow that child, to go to the hospital, to give birth to a child, and 2 days later leave the hospital without a child. It is more painful than I can ever express to anyone, but God was with me in that. God gave me the peace that only He can give me in telling me this is okay. It's okay to make the decision that you're making because it's the right decision. You're giving this child everything that he deserves to have. You are allowing this child to live the life that I want him to live. Only with God's strength and God's amazing grace and love was I able to go through with my decision to choose adoption for Jacob, and it was the best decision that I've ever made in my life.